So it's a quick cheeky lunchtime. Apologies for the background noise, but next door's having some cavity wall insulation installed, so there's a big generator going. I thought I would come have a look at the front driver's side brake disc, which is sticking except for if you put a tiny bit of brake pressure on it. So let's have a look. So took the caliper off, which is cable tied up there. The pads themselves, lots of life left in them. They are pretty new, and so is the disc. This was all crudded at the back here, so that's going to need a clean out. But both discs, or both pads, these were changed fairly new. If I went inside to get the Brembo ones that I was going to put on, because I didn't know the state of these, they look pretty identical. So do I bother changing this, or do I just use this? I might use this for the MOT, because these are worn in, and then once the MOT is done, change it. I mean, these are Padgett ones, so they're not exactly rubbish brands. Anyway, the point of this, so I had to undo these bolts to get the caliper off. But so when you put brake pressure on it, it squeezes here, and then these spring out and let you return. Except for this one, I mean, I'm using all my it's not moving at all. So this is probably very rusty and very seized up. So we'll put some penetrating fluid on here and leave it for a day or so, put some more on, and then we'll see what happens. So I took the slide pins out of that caliper, and I think you can see the difference. The one that was stuck, the one that wasn't. Right, so now that we've cleaned those pins up, it's time to put it all back together again. It's still noisy because they're still doing cavity wall insulation next door. But first, let's have a look at the old pads versus new pads, just so we can see how old and worn they actually are. So here are the old ones again, pretty thick. And then the new ones, I suppose they are a bit thicker, aren't they? But really, I'm going to do this one-handed. Those are pretty new, aren't they? They've not been on there long enough to bother changing with yet. We'll get through the MOT and then we'll do a proper brake swap with all these parts. So we're in the shed now, and we're going to see what happens when this hits that. Don't know how I'm going to film this, so either there's going to be a remote view or it's just going to suddenly change to the finish thing. Alright, so now we've got our slightly cleaned up pins. We're going to put back in the caliper. I've given the actual holes here and here. They squirt of brake cleaner and some brushing out. Now this is almost certainly not the right stuff for it, but it's what I have, and it'll be good enough for an MOT until I can get some proper, according to the internet, I need some silicon based proper brake stuff, but this will be fine. It'll burn out eventually, but all this will be coming off hopefully in a few weeks' time. So lube them up and give it a go. top one. Yeah, get that lubed up nicely. And then the bottom one, which was super rusty. Well, that's definitely freer than it was. So, time to put the caliper back on and give it a go. Right, so this is now all back on, all tightened up. I haven't torqued these bolts down to the right torque yet because I don't know what they are. I've just given it a... Let's give it about that much. Yeah, they're pretty tight. And this is actually sort of moving by itself now. There is some resistance, but it was not doing that before. Whereas this side, yes, in fact this feels tighter than that side, so let's turn it on and see what happens. See, this is nicely turning now. This would not do this before. It was seized solid until you gave it enough pressure. There's clearly something a bit tight, but that'll probably go with wear. As you can see, car's very unhappy because I've not got my seatbelt on and I'm driving 13 miles an hour. A quick preview for next time. Let's have a look at the inside of this car. So there's all sorts of stuff in here. Disgusting. So this is all going to get hoovered out. And I found where the mice are, or were. There's a little mouse nest. They've been eating all the stuffing from underneath here. This all needs cleaning out. Those seatbelts have seen better days.